Hi first graders, it's Mrs. Briggs here with you again for your reading lesson. Our learning target today is I can determine the author's message or lesson. I want you to think back to some of the folk tales we've read together. One specifically that comes to mind is The Crow in the Pitcher. If you remember The Crow in the Pitcher, I want you to pause the video and think about the lesson that we learned from that story. The crow really wanted to get that water out of the pitcher, but she couldn't reach it. So she came up with different strategies to try to get that water out. Did the first time work? No. Second time even? No. But did she give up? No, she kept trying. So we could say the lesson that we learned, or the lesson of the story, was to never give up, and we can prove that by giving the examples of the crow doing things that didn't work, but she kept on trying. So in today's story, I want you to think about what lesson did a character in the story learn, or what is the message that the author, the person who wrote the story, what are they trying to tell us? And your story today is not on Epic, and it's not in your green book. So I am going to have the story for you on the screen, and you can follow along and listen to me read it to you. So again, I want you to think about what is the author trying to tell us in this story. And this story is called When I Was Little Like You. It is written by Jill Patton Walsh, illustrated by Stephen Lambert. And there will be some words that maybe we haven't heard before. Some, when I read it the first time, I did not know what they meant. So I'm going to pause on some of those words and give you a chance to think about what they might mean, and then we'll talk about what they do mean to help us understand the story better. All right, when I was little like you. Look, Gran, said Rosie. Look at the train, Gran. When I was little like you, said Gran, a steam engine pulled the cars. It made little homemade clouds as it puffed round the point. Look, Gran, said Rosie. Look at the ice cream van. When I was little like you, said Gran, the ice cream seller was a man on a bicycle. He had a sign that said, Stop me and buy one. Look, Gran, said Rosie. Look at the boats, Gran. When I was little like you, said Gran, the boats had brown sails, not engines. They couldn't get out of the harbor unless the wind would let them. Now I see the word harbor here, and you have maybe heard the word harbor before. I'm going to reread that sentence. They couldn't get out of the harbor unless the wind would let them. Now the they in that sentence, we're talking about boats. So a harbor is where the boats are parked before you take them out into the open water. Look, Gran, said Rosie. Look at the fish shop, Gran. When I was little like you, said Gran, we bought fish from the boatmen on the quay. A brace of bright mackerel for supper, still fresh and shining. Oh, I heard a couple words that I've never heard before, so I'm going to go back to them. The first one I saw was quay. Quay. I'm going to reread that sentence. We bought fish from the boatmen on the quay. The boatmen are on the quay selling fish. I have a picture to show you of what a quay is so we can really understand what that might look like. Let me see if I can find it. Right here. I know it's a little bit blurry, but the quay is this cement part. So you had boatmen standing up here selling the fish that they caught, and then it's right next to the water and where the boats are. So this right here, kind of like a sidewalk, but it's alongside the water where the boats pull up to. So this is a quay. I also saw the word mackerel. A brace of bright mackerel for supper, still fresh and shining. Now, Gran was just talking about how she bought fish from the boatman, and then she said mackerel for supper. So thinking about if she just bought fish and they're going to eat it, mackerel is a type of fish. Look, Gran, said Rosie. Look at the sweets, Gran. Look at the candies. When I was little like you, said Gran, the sweets were in rows of glass bottles. We bought them at 4 for a penny and 1 for a farthing. Look, Gran, said Rosie. Look at the surfers, Gran. When I was little like you, said Gran, nobody knew how to do that. When the waves were wild, we played catch as catch can with the breakers. Now, catch as catch can, I've never heard of that, but it must be some type of game, just like playing tag or some other games that we have today. Look, Gran, said Rosie. Look at the lighthouse, Gran. When I was little like you, said Gran, the lighthouse looked just like that on fine summer evenings. Did you like the world better, Gran, the way it was when you were little like me? Oh, no, my dear, no. The world is more fun by far now it has you in it. All right. And you can replay this video if you want to reread this story on your own. Let me get back to my video here. Hello again. I hope you enjoyed that story. Again, you are going to be writing down the central message or the lesson that you learned from that story. And I'll give you a hint, the ending of the story really helps you find that lesson. Now, you can write it on notebook paper or regular paper and then take a picture of it. Again, just like our other reading activities, take a picture of it and put it on Seesaw. Otherwise, you can add a note or a drawing directly to the Seesaw activity. But again, you are writing the author's message or the lesson that you learned in that story. Have fun!